Exchange traded funds, ETFs, are buying millions of XRP daily. Companies are adding it to their books, and the world is still in the dark about it. It all started here at xrprightnow.com, the only place to get the latest Ripple and XRP news. And by the time most people wake up, this item might already have gone. Every day we update 1525 articles, and it's all free. So much is dependent upon the news. But listen, picture yourself waking up one morning to find that the event that everyone said would take years is actually unfolding inside the XRP ETF market at this very moment, years ahead of schedule. We are not here discussing moonboy math or hype theories. That is not what we do. The data is raw and unforgiving, and it's revealing a trend that not even the early bulls saw coming. Everyone has seen the headlines. Here, we will emphasize it for you. A total of 919,000 in assets under management. With 400,000 XRP locked, the daily volume averages out to about $41,000. All four of the exchange-traded funds. Picture the chaos that ensues in December when we receive 3 additional. However, I am more interested in discussing that final figure, the 45 million. I am blown away. Does this not constitute the driver? Here is your daily net investment in ETFs. This bar is used to break things. The tectonic plate that went unnoticed is this one. Simply said, the whole market structure is turned upside down if you turn that into real XRP. We can figure this out, I suppose. To help you keep up with me, it's displayed on your screen. We calculated that it was $2.20 by dividing 45 million by the price of XRP. I am aware that it is a little lower. It's all right. Simply put, these figures would be greater. 24 million XRP daily is what we're shooting for. Just think about that for a while. You can't call that a bull run. A gap has opened up in the system at a rate 4 to 7 times higher than what your researchers had anticipated. XRP is vanishing from the market. By the end of the month, there will have been the disappearance of almost 614 million XRP, or nearly there. It's as if the market is inviting you to take all you have and then some. The level of optimism, however, drops to utter lunacy at this point. No, your preferred exchange does not sell XRP to institutions. They purchase it without a prescription. And there are only between 1.5 to 2.5 billion XRP in the world's over-the-counter pool. It's done. Those are the reservoirs. All of the shock absorber is that if we keep going at this rate, we will run out of upper range in around 4 months. With the lowest range, we only have almost 3 months. The first quarter of next year is going to be just out of this world. The more exchange-traded funds, ETFs, we have joining, the more these figures rise. The market makers will be forced into the exchanges 2.5 months before the deadline. Your slippage will become vertical 2.5 months before it begins. Around 2.5 months prior to the order books being sparse, the gap appears and prices begin to skip levels akin to a malfunctioning elevator. Supply shock starts in this way, calm at first, then ferocious and ultimately unbeatable. It took years for the Bitcoin supply shock to become a reality. Less liquidity and a more aggressive influx are shaping XRP's real-time trajectory. But wait, there's more. The reason this squeeze isn't limited to ETFs is shown in the next slide. Japan is lighting the fuse, thus it's actually expanding globally. We can see this in another piece I uploaded there. The corporate treasury now includes XRP. The Western markets have yet to factor in Japan's recent bombshell, which the country nonchalantly dropped while everyone is arguing about charts on Twitter. Alt Plus, a Japanese publicly traded firm, has formally informed regulators that XRP is now a component of its corporate treasury strategy. This is not conjecture or hearsay. This is not a translation error. The document you have uploaded has legal force. This document included 2 assets, Bitcoin and XRP. It's done. Okay, everyone. Instead of Ethereum, Solana, or some VC-backed pet project, XRP is the way to go. Furthermore, the terminology employed talking about future price appreciation, decentralization, transparency, immediate low-cost settlement, scarcity, and your staking revenue, it reads like it was written by a macro hedge fund executive. Just this line of thinking in 2020 was the driving force behind Bitcoin's business wave. However, this time it's heading to XRP all the way from Japan. Corporations' bottom lines don't follow trending topics. They are after assets with a long lifespan. Japan really is the most XRP-friendly country in the world. Securities and banks, banking integrations, and clear regulations. Your other Japanese public companies will likely follow suit when one of them does anything like this. Organizations imitate one another at a rate that retail stores can never hope to match. Institutional adoption is simply one aspect of this. This marks the official launch of XRP as a treasury asset reserve. Now, before we move on to the next segment, everyone, please give us a thumbs up, and I'll show you how to store cryptocurrency with the same care that large companies do, returned after having a cat leap onto my lap. Without fail, they are itching to be in the videos. You know what? I have faith that corporations aren't leaving their XRP and Bitcoin holdings on exchanges if they intend to hold on to them for the long haul. Attacks like that take place there. There are withdrawal limits. Miracles do occur. They employ premium custody, which is built for significant money and is secure and compliant. For that reason, I advise that all funds be routed via Coinbase's institutional and Fidelity services. Everything is under your control. There are no monthly fees, and even if someone were to steal your account, they would only be able to withdraw the cryptocurrency to their bank account. So you can rest easy. It's done. It might work out for the best if you wait until it's $50 before cashing out. After all, they sold it for you when it dropped to $10. If you'd rather not do that, we can arrange a private consultation with my assistants. You can form an LLC. I'll make sure it's organized. Everything will be resolved. No, since your cryptocurrency will be channeled through your business, Uncle Sam will not be seizing all of your wealth. Moving on, let's take a look at this since, in keeping with the previous discussion, XRP set yet another record for an exchange-traded fund. Its $800 million in AUM makes it the second fastest exchange-traded fund, ETF, ever. This is something I can say again. It has $800 million in assets under management more quickly than any other exchange-traded fund, ETF, in history. To top it all off, just one fund has been trading for a complete 2 weeks, which is just insane. Consider it, there is just a 2-week-old fund, a little more than a week has passed since the others. 400,000 XRP reserved, removed from circulation in a few of days. Oh, we need all of stuff and we need it now. As if Wall Street had forgotten that XRP existed. For every month that Bitcoin took to reach a milestone, XRP is already there. Everybody, it's insane. That's insane. Picture this. There aren't 4 ETFs. When we get 8, what happens next? Things are about to get crazy outside. An asset is developing rapidly before our eyes. What leads us to this point? Tom Lee's forecast, as he made a very bullish assumption this year. It was chaotic out there with everything that happened, he added, even though we all went through a hard 6 weeks beginning on my birthday, October 11th. However, according to him, the market is preparing for a massive rally in December. Why? Why? Because the Federal Reserve is shifting its stance from dovish to more hawkish in order to achieve a robust rally leading up to the end of the year. The grind we were in not long ago was very bad, and I recognize that. Many project managers I've spoken with have described that 6-week period as the most challenging they've ever faced. We now know that de-risked accounts have ended up in the red. Given how powerful October was, we know that we will have positive seasonals all the way into the end of the year. The likelihood that we will be successful is basically 5 or 6%. Listen, I'll explain this to you in simple terms. Allow me to simplify this so that anyone may comprehend. Liquidity drops in price as rates go down. Crypto pumps have the same risk as rewards. Even though Bitcoin is leading, altcoins that have catalysts are going to have a wild ride. There are currently more triggers for XRP than for nearly any other asset on the market. Assuming Tom Lee is correct, and you are aware that his position is somewhat balanced, the perfect storm occurs when a sudden surge in XRP liquidity coincides with an influx of macro liquidity. The reason we've arrived at this point is that Vanguard has entered the crypto ETF market. I'm referring to your $7 trillion index. Of course, they entered the exchange-traded fund market, that is. The floodgates have opened for more than 50 million investors who had no access before. Consider it. The most cautious investment business in the world, famous for its cautious approach, has recently embraced crypto, joining forces with index crypto innovators. What happens when a new type of asset is added to the index? It will be automatically assigned to you. Investing turns into exposure and programmatic. It is bound to happen. This is the starting point for your trillion-dollar waves. The overall market capitalization of all cryptocurrencies is $3 trillion. Nothing big. This will go up to 10, 15, or 20 trillion. Wait a little longer, it is developing, and you know what? We are currently discovering that we were correct and that we have been correct. And this was unbelievable. Fox broadcast this live. A new measure establishing a framework for the cryptocurrency market is on the verge of passing, according to the head of the SEC. Not being debated or discussed, it will soon be over. Pay heed. The bill that was passed by the House is now being reviewed for clarity. That way, we can track its progress in Congress. Therefore, it is my sincere wish that they would succeed in passing that. But that's okay. The CFTC is already hard at work on a law to bring our two systems into harmony. He has arrived and is immediately getting to work as he had promised. Have you given any thought to the implications of that? This bodes well for the distribution of pension funds, the establishment of clear regulations, the legal entry of banks into the market, and other related matters. Waiting for approval, there are trillions. Dan Morehead, CEO of Pantera Capital, one of the first crypto hedge funds, points out that as soon as that measure passes, crypto will stop being a recognized global asset class and become the Wild West. Bitcoin reaching $745,000 is entirely feasible, he just stated. Do you really think it will not go to zero? In an effort to play it safe, I used to say that it could reach zero. Currently, I don't see how it's feasible. It is owned by 300 million people worldwide, 50 million in the US alone. The companies selling it are BlackRock and Fidelity. Truly, it has attained the speed of light. Michael Saylor gave you $745,000. That's $13 million. Its market cap is already at 15 trillion, which is still relatively small, but I believe it has the potential to grow by another 4 orders of magnitude after the introduction of our fund.